Hey guys, Rochelle here with Amethyst Ascension. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So today I am going to be doing the second part of the hashtag that my sister created called Enchanted Decks. And the first one, I showed all of my top 10 enchanted tarot decks. And this one is my top 10 enchanted oracle decks. So for me, I think the premise for my sisters was like the ones that are like super blingy and flashy, and she's just like drawn into that, like sparkly. For me, it's really about the artwork, being drawn into the artwork and the stories that the decks tell. And this one just happens to be for Oracle. So let's just dig right in. So for the first one, it's the Haunts Oracle. I chose this one because I haven't worked with it yet. It is super cool. I'm sorry, it is by Stacy Williams, NG. And this is like super cool. Conjured Spirit, Ghost Garden. I find this really enchanting because I want to delve into these worlds and find out what these cards are all about. I find like Gothic, like Southern Gothic, like really cool. Hellhound. Makes me think of like the originals. Makes me think of, again, I'm going to say this again from, like I said with other decks. It reminds me of like True Blood, Louisiana. It reminds me of, what is it? Midnight in the Garden of Evil, or Midnight in the Garden. I can't remember what it was with Kevin Spacey, and it was like in Savannah, based out of Savannah. But like, I remember driving through Savannah many years ago, and just, a lot of those southern states. But this is just like, this feels like New Orleans. This feels like maybe Alabama, Louisiana, in that series, but like hauntings, right? Together forever. This made me think of True Blood. Makes me think of Supernatural. It's just really super cool. And I want to find out about these. Oh, that's so cool. Rougarou. Sophos. Magic Potions. Yeah, oh, look at that. Hazel the Mummy. Lunatic Asylum. So, yes. Even the backs are really cool. I want to, like, all right, like 40 frights. There are 40 fears represented in the 40 cards of this deck. Using the monsters, ghosts, scary places, and objects pictured, you can consider each as an analogy to a limiting fear that might be shadowing you. What are you really afraid of? Fear of change, fear of attachment, fear of outsiders. Yeah, I'm going to take this upstairs. I haven't worked with this one yet. So that's why I'm so enchanted by, because I like hauntings. We used to watch like ghost hunters and stuff like that, right? And I love watching when they go into graveyards and old asylums and like abandoned castles, and all that stuff is like super cool. But you add like down south, I love it. Like superstitions and like voodoo and hoodoo and Oh yeah, it's all really cool. So that's one of them. Another one that I am so enchanted by is the Stone and Shadow Oracle by Serafina Barker. This one is so shadowy. It's beautiful. The artwork just speaks to me. Innocence. The write-ups are so good. They're poetic but deep. Initiation, the Watcher. Like, let me read the Watcher to you. Let me find the Watcher. In a world, oh, let me grab my glasses. Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? In a world that asks us to not see what we see, not know what we know, let your gaze be unflinching and clear. Don't listen when they tell you to close your eyes or blur the visions. You'll need to navigate the vast oceans and dark forests and distant horizons that are yours to discover in this life. Your Watcher knows the way. Oh my God. That your shadow knows the way. Your intuition knows the way. The observer inside of you knows the way. Yeah. Gosh, I love this deck. So, Enchanted, I am enchanted by this deck and by the book, the images. It's so shadowy and glorious. Another deck, Oracle, of course, is the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. And it's also because not only do I love all of these beautiful fae creatures that are so different, but it's the book. So let's do all of these. Really, you're going to see a lot of, it's the companions that really, it's different for tarot than it is for Oracle. And one of the reasons that I love Oracle so much is because each system can be so different, right? So fabulous. Let's find something. All right. Oh my gosh, how funny is that? I went right to that. I went like this. I went right to it. Wow. It's the laume. Unconditional giving, unconditional receiving. She is the laume, or laume, in the same way that the McGregor is the chief of the clan McGregor, the laume of all laumes. The laume is a charitable soul in the old sense of the word charity, which is loving and giving. She knows the joy of giving without expectation of return. From practicing this ourselves, we learn that there always is a return, often from the least expected source. Yeah, like paying it forward, right? The universe likes to keep its accounts up to date, and the Lami's job is to encourage us to keep the credit side of our cosmic accounts balanced by freely giving. Yes. We have been given the earth, the sun, the stars, and the moon. We have been given trees and flowers and things to eat and a multitude of prospective friends. It's going to take a considerable amount of generosity to come into balance with all those gifts that we have already received. When we fall out of balance in what we give and what we receive, we can have constipation or diarrhea of the spirit. Spiritual constipation makes us toxic and bloated and unable to deal with more intake. Spiritual diarrhea makes us energetically depleted, limp, and needy. The spiritual forms of these particular malfunctions are entirely a result of our choices about balancing our giving and receiving. You may think that you have it right, but if things are not going well for you, the law may suggest that you think again. If you are pushing and pushing at something, It can often help greatly just to back off, relax about it, and let the energy flow. If at the same time that you back up from your efforts, you put energy into the universe elsewhere, then energy just naturally has to flow back to you in the most appropriate and generous form. Oh, the universe also has to keep its accounts balanced. Studying the laume's picture, a discussion group member wrote, "The laume is still bugging me. She looks passive but watchful. I think she feels that this giving business needs a bit more explanation. It's about being ready to do what sometimes quite small things just when it is needed. A pinch of fairy dust in just the right places at just the right time works wonders. But big clouds of fairy dust just make everyone sneeze. This is true. Sometimes a small bit of helpfulness now prevents a big need later, and sometimes a big thing is needed right from the beginning." Another oracle reader noted that the laume's wings looked a bit tattered and wondered if this indicated that it is sometimes appropriate to give until it hurts. "Yes, it is," the laume says. "Not as a habit, not as a sort of martyrdom, but only on the rare occasions when it is truly needed." One of the laume's charming customs is to give through whatever pair of hands is nearest, providing they allow her to do so. Do you let the laume give through your hands, or do you put them in your pockets and hold back, holding on to what is yours? If so, you are missing a lot of fun, some interesting experiences, and spiritual growth. So there's more. Well, start a reading. If you are stuck or blocked in a situation and the laume turns up in a reading, you probably need to stop focusing on what you are trying to accomplish and simply give to others freely and generously and unconditionally. Wow. Yes. Give without any expectations, right? I have no problem doing that. I have a problem receiving without giving something in return because it always feels unbalanced to me. But I know that that's my own crap that I got to work through, because I do give in many different ways. It's not always monetary gifts. It's my time and my attention and my support, right? I give that strongly. And so I think that that is a beautiful message. But another reason why I am so enchanted by this deck, the book is so good, and that was definitely interesting. That was the card that came up, and then just going like that, and it came up to that. Yeah, I don't believe in coincidences, and that was not a coincidence. Sorry if that was too loud, I clapped. So the next deck that I want to show that I am totally enchanted by, and how can you not be enchanted by this one? And I just want to mention here that I don't know how many decks I have. I'm guessing around 600 decks, roughly. So to pick my top 10 enchanted decks, oracle decks, that is really about what I'm feeling in this moment, because that can change from time to time, right? It's probably going to change about the moment that I publish this, if I'm being honest. And it is the Old Ways Magic Oracle. I am enchanted by this world. Look at how beautiful. Oh, endure. Farsight. Protection. Nature. Mild voices. Clarity. Mild mage. Let's read the mild mage. Okay, let's see what it says. Okay, so I found it. This is what it looks like in the book. And this is what it says. Mirrodin, or Mirrodin, is both an instinctual creature and a wise man, combining magic and science to find the answers to the mysteries. He shows us that we need both the wild chaos of nature and the ordered patterns of logic to unlock the mysteries both inside and around us. Welcome. Listen to all the voices to find your way. Warning. Be careful that you do not slip into one mindset and wisdom. Mirrodin teaches us that madness and wisdom, magic and science, imagination and logic, both sides are needed to fully understand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hell yeah. I love that so much. This deck is amazing. The first two decks, by the way, were indie decks. This one is a mass market. Illuminate. Beautiful. Oh, I'm doing my death year practice. I'm not in a death year, but it just seemed appropriate. I'm doing that on Patreon. I just released the third in the series. And it's about the death of our older selves. Oh, community. Nurture. Oh my gosh. Gosh, I want to take this deck upstairs too. The source. Okay. I love it. Let's see what else we got. Of course, another one, and you guys probably knew this, is the Invisible Order Oracle. Watching Them, Watching Us. This is by Daniel Martin Diaz. Oh, look what one is stuck. Yep. So that's the one I'm going to read on. Disclosure. Ooh, let's see what that is. But I just want to show you a few of these. This is enchanting because this is very much, I know how my mind works with like conspiracy theories and I'm not saying it's always healthy either, but I know that's where my mind goes with a lot of stuff. I love this deck. Foreboding, enchantment, watching them, AI, surveillance, conjure, confluence, power. Yeah, look at that. Okay, I want to read the disclosure one. Let me find it right quick. All right. So, revelation, shock, inner truth. Beneath a thick sky, three cloaked figures emerge from smoke and shadow. Between them stands a pale alien being, its face blank but knowing, marked with a glowing triangle. Below, the townspeople scatter, some in fear, some in recognition. A truth long hidden has stepped into the open. The disclosure card signals a sudden unveiling, something buried rising without permission. This could be an external secret revealed or a collective truth finally acknowledged. More powerfully, it may be your own hidden truth, something that you've buried deep, perhaps even yourself, a secret memory or identity that has been gnawing at your subconscious, shaping your choices from beneath the veil. When this card appears, face the truth directly, whether it's emerging from within or from the world around you, speak it. Even if it shakes the ground, healing begins on the other side of revelation. Well, I love it. Loves it. So I am totally enchanted by this deck because I feel like it's like going into my inner landscape, you know, because I do believe like in a lot of conspiracy theories and stuff like that. So yeah, let's see what else we got. So also the Brian Froud's Oracle, the Fairies Oracle, that's also mass market. If any of these are out of print, I'm sorry, I haven't checked on that, okay? This next one is the Oracle of the Living Spell, the Grimoire, and this is the Grimoire. And this is the Oracle of the Living Spell, and this is by Sarah. That's the card, the blessing. Those are the backs. This is such an enchanting Oracle deck. She did a beautiful job on this deck. So all right, let's read that one. Breakthrough and opportunity, the key. The book is really good too. She did such a beautiful job. All right. The key. Keywords: breakthrough, access, readiness, message. The key appears when the answer is near. You may not be through the door yet, but something has unlocked in you, a decision, a knowing, a shift. This is the moment when you realize you are not stuck. The key might be insight, opportunity, courage, or simply the will to try again. Reach for it. This card reminds you that the door you're facing isn't sealed against you. It is waiting for you to choose. Sometimes all it takes is one breath, one tiny act of readiness, and suddenly everything opens. Reflection. Where have I believed I was locked out? What truth or choice is asking to be claimed? What am I ready to reach for now? The charm. I reach with heart and rise with will. The lock is quiet. The world is still. With open hand and steady breath, the key is mine. I pass the test. Isn't that fantastic? I could get lost in this world also. I love it. It's so magical, and it is enchanting, and it's calling me to it. Bravo, Sarah. Bravo. She is the Cedar Moon Witch. Is that right? Channel. Yeah, Cedar Moon Witch. So she is the Cedar Moon Witch channel, and she also has this, I believe, available on Etsy. Okay? Oracle of the Living Spell. So another one that I find enchanting because of what it can bring to the table. Enchanting is like a spell, right? It's got a spell on you. This is the like conspiracy and crime deck. And we have had a couple of parties now over on my Patreon of what do we call it? Build the crime. They were build the crime parties, like through Zoom. And so we would build the crime with decks like this. And tarot, oracle, you can choose what you wanted. But we like did the whole scenario. It's all just fictional storytelling and just enjoying it. But imagine what kind of storytelling that you can do with this. I mean, it was very convoluted, let me tell you. But it's so fun having just a crime party with friends. I think the one that we did, there was, what, 6 or 7 of us? It was so much fun. So much fun. So I will be having more parties in the future. Crime building parties. They're just fun. Night out, you know. I don't go out partying or anything like that. I'm too old for that. So this is the kind of way I party. Grab a glass of wine if you can drink wine or whatever, and have a build a crime party with your friends, you know, your other witchy friends. So, or divination friends. So I am enchanted by that whole world. So another one that I am enchanted by, and I've looked into it a little bit. I was talking with Roman from Gold Monday Tarot a couple of weeks ago, I think, through Messenger, and we were talking. He was showing me another set of cards, and I told him that I had these. These are super friggin' cool, and I started trying to learn them, but it's a lot. There's a lot. It's a whole other system. These are Baba Studios fortune-telling cards, and they have like pairings, like fortune pairings and all. It's just really cool. Really cool. So I'm enchanted by this whole world and learning this system. But we are learning Lenormand right now, so I'm going to wait. But this is something that very much interests me and enchants me. And it is like that whole I love this whole like look. It also reminds me of like the Victorian fairy, or the Victorian romantic, or romantic Victorian. I can't remember the name of it. Also a Baba Studio deck. It reminds me of that, but that one's tarot. And this is a heavy duty book too. So I am enchanted by that oracle. Another one that I am enchanted by is the European Goddesses and Spirits Oracle deck. This one I have quite a few, and have had quite a few goddess decks. I have also given some away. I am so attracted to goddess decks and stuff like that. But this one is so beautifully done. This is a Kickstarter that I backed. It's the European Goddesses and Spirits deck, and then companion book, and it's by Joanna Paul. I love these, but I also love the write-ups. And many of the goddesses that are in here, I had never heard of before. Many I had, but there are many that I hadn't. And I loved that bit about it. The art is just stunning. But I want to show you the book, so... let's just do some... there we go, we'll do this one. Air. Themes: healing, medicine, herbal remedies, life and death protection mountains. Air is a mysterious character from Norse mythology. Scholars cannot agree on whether she is a goddess, a Valkyrie, or possibly a Norn. Her name derives from the Old Norse word for protection, help, or mercy. Her association with medical skills is widely agreed upon. Air is attested to in several written sources, namely the Poetic Edda and the Prose Edda, and in skaldic poetry. Snorri Sturluson compares her to Hygeia, the Greek goddess of health and hygiene. And at one point, he mentions Air as a goddess connected to Asgard, while in another passage, she is listed among the Valkyries. In Norse mythology, the Valkyries choose the slain and guide the souls of the dead to Valhalla, the hall of the god Odin. There is far more to Valkyries than their depiction in contemporary media suggests. A Valkyrie has the ability to wake the dead and to heal the wounded. Therefore, counting Air among their ranks is not unreasonable. In the poem, I can't even pronounce that, Air is mentioned in association with Menglod, Old Norse for the one who takes pleasure in jewels, a literary character that scholars often interpret as an alternative form of the goddess Freya or Frigg. Air is named as one of the Menglod's handmaidens who reside together in Lafraberg, the healing mountain. It is the place where the goddess lives, surrounded by her helping spirit. Some scholars interpret Air as one of those guardian spirits who supports a major deity, probably Frigg, or in her healing work. In this case, Air could be likened to a female ancestral spirit common folk would make offerings to and receive protection from in return. Historical records of Norse mythology don't contain a lot of information about healing rituals. However, researchers are convinced that the healing powers of goddesses and gods were of great importance to people's daily lives in the pre-Christian period. So then you got another couple of pages that talk about the healing, and then some reference here like where can you notice beauty today, how can you support yourself on a regular basis, and what kind of support do your mind, body, and soul need, and more. And then correspondences, draw, mountain, and herbal medicine, and helping you to connect with that goddess. I just think that this is so good. I worked with this for a year doing the envelopes, but I really fell short with the envelopes and didn't keep up with it. I got about, I don't know, maybe 5 months, 4 or 5 months. And then I did reveal all them and look at them, but I didn't do the kind of work that I should have with them because I had so much going on last year. But they come like this. Look at the backs. This is an absolutely stunning deck. This is an indie. I'm not sure if it's out of print or whether or not it's available, but it is called the European Goddesses and Spirits. Oh, and it is fantastic. I love it so much. It's so enchanting. Everything about it is so beautiful. The work that she put into this is amazing. And yes, so that's another one of them that I am enchanted with. All right, I got two more. So another one that I am really enchanted with is the Cosma Visions. The beautiful thing, now I know that Carla, like I said, it was about the bling, right? And being enchanted by it. And I can't lie, I do love the bling, okay? I love the eye. I love like the maze or the winding, the squigglies. I love it. I love all that. It's stunning. The artwork here is amazing. And this is very much like what happens in, because this is an oracle, what happens from like death is the beginning, and it's like in between, following the process of in between lives, right? That's what this deck is for. And another thing that's really super cool, let me see if I can show you really quick. 1 second. I just wanted to show you briefly. If these were over here, it would show a whole panoramic view of the trees, which I'm guessing is the pentacles. Kind of like the pentacles, because it's kind of like tarot, but it's an oracle also. But the 8, 9, and 10, if I could have fit them, it would have been a whole panoramic. All 4 suits do that. And the 4 different suits that we have for this are the trees, the lotuses, the embers, and the birds. So you have your air, you have your fire, you have your water, and you have your earth. And then you have, so on top of the 4 suits, which I've put back over here, you have these, which are the like courts, right? The elementalist, the commander, the peacemaker, the dreamer, the wanderer, the protector, the geomancer. They're all archetypes. The shapeshifter, the weaver, the mystic, the romantic, the pathfinder, the entertainer, the composer, the mender, and the fighter. And then on top of that, this is like the version of like the major arcana. Sleeping ships, infinite paths, the unknown, life on earth, death being the first one, because it is like when we die, then it starts the process until we're reborn again. The crow, the swan, the peacock, the spirit plane, soulmates, the phoenix, the pelican, the orbs, the cosmic tree, life map, karma, sacrifice, past lives, the maze, vessel, the shore, the veil, the bridge. It is super friggin' cool. But on top of that, the book is amazing. Let me show you the book. Okay. This is the side that is for the Cosma Visions Oracle. You flip it like that, and that is for the Book of the Prisma Visions, which is the tarot. This is all James R. Eads. So here is the actual tarot side for the Prisma Visions, which is also so beautiful. The art is so beautiful. Well, let me show you the other one, the Cosma Visions. Those are all the panoramic visions of all of the suits. So we have our embers, we have our lotuses, we have our birds, and we have our trees. That's what they look like when you put them all together. All of the minor arcanas, or the suits. Isn't that so cool? But look at that. It has a Cosma Visions regression, which I did this years ago, but I should again. The House of Death, House of the Crow, how and where this life ended, creativity and manifestation, intuition and knowledge. And it goes through the whole thing, like what each thing means. It's so friggin' cool. Then it has like the different archetypes that it talks about. Like the past lives, the maze, the vessel, the bridge, infinite pathways, the unknown. Starts off at the death, right? Which is like the fool. The magician. So it is like the tarot, yeah, major arcana, but through the scope of a rebirth, which, I mean, I guess I would look at the fool like that. Like when we choose to incarnate an experience, you go through the major arcana and the minor arcana. The major's more the major stuff, and the minors are more the minor, like mundane things that happen, right? But this is looking at, like, to the best of my remembrance, it's like from death to a new life, the whole process, instead of being born and then the whole life. It's like the opposite. Yeah, mirror card, the Chariot. Yeah, these are all the mirrors. That's right. I need to pull this one upstairs too. This deck is so cool. I seen Elizabeth over on the More Intuitive Me channel, and she was going through this. She was doing some spreads with it, or doing a spread with it, and it really made me think about this one. I haven't pulled it out in a couple of years. This is also a heavy-duty book, but I love that it's for both the tarot and the oracle. So I am definitely enchanted by that. I have one more deck to show you. Okay, so this is the other deck. Now, it's called A Deck for Wonder Walking. I got this a couple of years ago. It actually, well, I backed it a couple of years ago, and it came in when I couldn't walk because, you know, of breaking my ankle last year, or the year before last. And I was kind of bummed that I wasn't able to use it because of that, because of not being able to walk and then having to learn how to walk again and being on a walker and using a walker and all that good stuff. But this is such a cool deck because I don't look at it as in just finding the adventures out in nature. It's about finding the adventures in life, right? Appreciating the things that are around you, even if that's something that you discover, you know, at a local store or anywhere in your walk of life. That's how I see it. But it is nature themed. And it comes with, I just did a walkthrough of this with my death practice video. But I want to show you the books that also came with it. And I love this. It's rose petal. One thing I will say about these, which is very interesting, is they are like smooth on one side and like rose petal on the other. That's the first deck that I've ever seen that does that. And of course, the like beautiful matte gold gilding that's on these, in the labyrinth that's on the back, because life is like a labyrinth, right? But I want to show you also the books that I got that came with this. This was a Kickstarter. An Explorer's Journal, Wonder Walking. This is by Amy T. Wan. And it's just so absolutely beautiful. A Magical World. The Wonder Walk. It's the guidebook, right? Trying to get to the good. But it's like a work through it yourself. Although I love this so much, I would not. I would make a copy and probably put it in my digital journal. But it's so beautiful. Walking into Wonder. Wonder and Curiosity. Look at that. Is that not the most beautiful and enchanting The watercolors, the quality of this deck and book set is just beyond words. It's so good. But that's not the only book. Also got this one, A Magical Night Journey, Finding Wonder and Serenity Under the Moon and the Stars. This one is also equally friggin' stunning. Night Walking. Create a Night Journal. Nocturnal Mood Painting. Memories of the Night. Early Night Memories. It's just like a journal of, you know, what you explore at the nighttime. It's so beautiful. Absolutely stunning. So if I were to journal with these, I would just take an actual picture right of the page and put that right into my digital journal. Even these, and then write in it, in my digital journal, rather than marring up these because they're just so precious to me. And this is something that I feel like you could do many times over in your life. So, you know, that's why I wouldn't write in it and make pages so that you can do it, whatever stage that you are in your life, you could always do it. I mean, 10 years from now, you could do it again, or it could become a ritual, something that you do every year, you know? And then this came later, Diary of Wonder. Look at all that in the beginning. Her artwork is just absolutely amazing. Even the edges, look at that. The back with the gold, all of the ribbons that are there. This is one of those, it's such high quality pages that I would probably use this for watercoloring if I ever got into it. I've got what I need, but I want to take like a class or something on how to do watercoloring because I have no clue, and I am really not an artist in that sense. But I would like to be, you know, I would like to explore that. So hopefully I'll allow myself some time in order to do that this year and just watch some videos. I wanted to do that with my hubby, where we both like take an online class where we learn how to do this stuff together. And because he wants to do it also. So, and then once I learn, then I can put some of my own art into this, because these are thick pages that will definitely hold up to it. So yeah, this is why I'm so enchanted with this deck and the system that I got. And that was my 10. Caveat is these are the current ones that I am loving on, that I am enchanted by. So thank you, Carla, for the inspiration for this particular line of questioning into my collection, right? And why I am so enchanted by these decks. I hope that you guys also jump on this, because I love what other people, what they love about their collections. And I also, this is a way for me to love and appreciate what I have. So as all of these new decks are coming out, I can go look on my shelves and go, you know what? Look at what I got here. So I hope you also are feeling a little bit of that. Go shop your shelves, you know? Go take a look at the treasures that you already have, if you have a collection. So thank you for spending this time with me, and I am sending you love always.